Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with part 2 of Top 13 Death Battle Ideas. And I forgot to say this at the beginning. Why Top 13? Because here at the Game Hub, only the odd can become number 1. Let's get started with the number 7 spot on our list. Dreams. They are what drive everyone and what makes us all wish for a better world.
They could be good or they could be bad.
And these two next combatants are the embodiment of nightmares. Nightmare, the dark force that tried to destroy Dreamland, and Phantasma, the dark bat king of the dream world. I will get to that later, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on, let me just reply, because...
Yeah.
When the girlfriend calls, you answer. When the girlfriend calls, who are you going to call?
Anyone but a bad girlfriend?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I said they have experience in.
Yep. Alright, let's get to it. The world of Dreamland is very, very bizarre. Where the king is a giant penguin.
And the hero is a pink ball with legs, tiny stubs for arms, can
in the depths
like a black hole.
In the depths of space, a dark entity tried to conquer the world. Nightmare, who is basically a dark cloaked freak with a giant witch face.
Alright, that doesn't sound too terrifying.
Yeah, until he sends out a whole bunch of... Remember in the show?
I've never watched Kirby.
Kirby right back at ya?
Never seen it.
So basically, what King Dedede was doing was buying monsters from Nightmare Enterprises to try to destroy Kirby. Monsters created by Nightmare.
Huh.
Yeah, Nightmare created every single monster.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's pretty much one giant monster factory.
Okay, that's interesting.
He can turn into a dark cloud and evade damage. He uses his sharp claws to attack and produce dark magic in order to attack his foes.
Alrighty.
Also, when hit with enough damage, he becomes into a super mode, where he practically changes color and his cape becomes spiky, so he can use it as blades.
Huh.
Pretty much any nightmare you can imagine, he will become it.
Wow.
His biggest weakness, though, was the Star Rod. Unfortunately, because Kirby isn't in this battle, the Star Rod is out.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Basically, the only way to really kill him is by using the power of light. Or basically finding some way to entrap him, and that's pretty much it.
What, no overpowering him?
Sadly, no, because he can turn into pure darkness and avoid damage. Next, Phantasma. Why is it Mario and his friends keep getting invited somewhere and there's a great evil? Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Well, quoting a line from Spaceballs, evil wins because good is stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And then when they were invited to Pillow Island.
That actually sounds like a comfortable place to go for a vacation.
It actually is. Pretty much beds everywhere you look. Giggity giggity.
Yeah.
Oh God, God, I just lost demonetization.
Not really, because that's not really.
Anyway, while they were there, they heard about the legend of an ancient evil trapped within the dream world named Phantasma, which is basically a dark bat enemy. But he's not really okay. Let me go back a little bit. In the beginning, on Pillow Island, Phantasma was a dark evil that tried to take over the island. Using a certain power, I can't remember what because it's been a good number of times since I played the game. Phantasma was trapped in the dream world so basically every area of Pillow Island has a dream world corresponding to it. So pretty much whatever it is in the real world, it's a dream version.
Okay.
So of the beach, the desert, the castle, it's pretty much a dream version of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So Phantasma was trapped in the dream world, and with Bowser's help, he escaped by joining forces. In the dream world, Phantasma is pretty much a purpley oval bat. And every time he speaks, he talks like a stereotypical vampire, saying that and this, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Seriously, every time I read the text like that, I immediately read it like that. But then he becomes his boss mode, where he turns into an elongated dark creature with a cape. What is with these villains and capes? No capes!
Edna mode.
Exactly. Now, in battle mode, Phantasma is no laughing matter.
Well, with claws, yeah, I would imagine he wouldn't be.
It's not just his claws. His other abilities are beyond amazing that he got the number 3 spot of my Mario bosses list.
Impressive.
Reason? Because because in the game Luigi is the one asleep, so we get Dreamy Luigi, which allows us to do all sorts of abilities. The beginning of the fight, Phantasma creates these crystallized orbs and entraps Dreamy Luigi in one of them, basically limiting our powers. And by eating said orbs, he can increase his power and stamina. Not only that, he can create copies of himself and release a barrage of dark energy. He can turn into many versions of his small bat form and swarm his opponent. And also, he can create a black dark orb that is basically the equivalent of a dream black hole. Not only that, but he can also create pocket dimensions, which have saw blades and daggers flowing through them. So basically, in the dream form, he is all powerful, so powerful that the Pillow Prince, yes, that's what I said, who was the power that defeated him in the first place, had a hard time afterwards, because after being in the real world, Phantasma started to grow stronger. Because being trapped in the dream world really isn't that good if you are basically a dream entity yourself. But the longer he was in the real world, the stronger he got. Because basically it was pretty much being away from his main source was what made him stronger. So which of these nightmarish foes gets the win?
Well, with Phantasma's little crystal ability that he could potentially seal away nightmares.
Pretty much, yeah. And unless Nightmare had an outside source to help him, like one of his monsters, he's pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, being all powerful, he could theoretically break out of the seal.
Yeah, which, if he is, that's not hard to imagine.
But in terms of combat, who has the better arsenal? Who's got the better abilities to take home the win?
If we're talking if we're going with pure physical might for one aspect of it, I would have to say Nightmare.
Reason?
Well,
is it that the ability to turn to absolute darkness?
Yeah. Because if you can avoid damage,
but he can't do it for long.
Doesn't matter. He can use that. He can use that to his advantage. Get behind his enemy. And hit with, and if he hits with enough force, which, given the fact that he'd probably be able to do that, he could easily win. Given that his opponent just got out of the dream realm and hasn't been out for a while.
That is true, but also Phantasma has the ability to create small versions of himself in his bat mode, and he can create duplicates of himself to confuse the enemy.
Yeah, that is true. But I doubt Nightmare would be susceptible to that.
So Nightmare gets the win?
He gets he gets a slight advantage, but he doesn't get the win.
Reason?
Well, let's say that he does get sealed away in one of those crystals.
Yes.
All Phantasma would have to do is create Nightmare's trying to break free, which would eventually happen, he could create hundreds of copies of himself, all surrounding him, and then do any attack that basically shoots a projectile.
Yeah, because all the others will mimic him, but only one will shoot.
So he won't know where the attack's coming from, so he won't be able to anticipate when to turn into his absolute darkness.
Correct. This is basically a quantity over quality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in this perspective, it does work. Because Nightmare probably won't be able to create as many enemies as he could because he's fighting on his own.
Yeah.
And Tasma, on the other hand, fights alone. He doesn't have minions like Bowser or Fawful did.
Yeah.
He just joined forces with them in order to get what he wanted, which was the Dream Stone.
Yeah. And let's say that the battle does go on for quite some time.
Yep.
The longer the battle goes on, the more powerful Phantasma becomes, to the point where even that pure darkness form wouldn't help. Because if you have a power greater than pure darkness, which is possible,
Yep.
you can damage pure darkness.
Well, turns out Phantasma, what he wanted, was not another nightmare.
Yeah.
The winner is Phantasma. Number 6, the mind. Quite possibly the one thing in the world that everyone wonders what goes on in there. And these two definitely use the mind to their advantage. Like Scarecrow, Gotham's own master of fear.
And Mysterio, Spider-Man's most mysterious villain.
Okay, that works. Now, Ed, give us the rundown on Mysterio.
Mysterio is an illusionist.
Quentin Beck.
Yes, Quentin Beck. He uses smoke and mirror tactics to commit crimes and, well, to try and defeat Spider-Man.
Mostly because he was technically a special effects artist for movies. When he got fired, he realized that honestly, I'm going to say this. In the original comics, the only reason he became a villain was because someone joked that he could do it.
Yeah. In the later TV series, it was because he tried to rig a movie set to make it more realistic.
Yep.
Which got him fired, and he wanted to take revenge.
Thus, the guise of Mysterio, the master of magic and illusion, while using technology. If there was ever a bigger hypocrite in the world, it's this guy.
Yes. In the game, Shared Dimensions, just referencing this, he actually does gain real illusionary magic.
Yeah, but that's only by using a certain item in the game. So, sadly, we will not be counting the Tablet of Order and Chaos in this death battle.
I'm just using it as an honorable mention kind of thing.
Fair enough.
So, we'll just say that he's known what real magic is, but he just can't use it.
Aside from his tactics, he's pretty good in combat. Considering he worked on a movie set, he probably studied a bunch of the stuntmen.
And probably practiced with them a lot, too.
Fair enough, because they did need some practice for movies.
Yeah. And in the show, he actually was, aside from being a special effects artist, a stuntman.
Yeah, exactly. That's what gave him the abilities and the technical chops to pull off his crimes.
And, obviously, the muscular build.
Well, whether it's using smoke to incapacitate people or creating clones of himself via holographic projections.
Now, Spider-Man is smart enough to see past all of this.
Actually, more than one occasion, Spider-Man has fallen to Mysterio's powers.
But it's not that often.
Yeah, usually Spider-Man would recuperate and figure out later.
Yes, and it would be a fairly quick recovery and a fairly quick assessing of the situation.
True. Mysterio's problems, though. Even though he is a good hand-to-hand combat, he's not physically strong, which is why he relies more on his gimmicks than anything else.
He still can go toe-to-toe for a bit with Spider-Man, but yeah, he does tend to lose quite often, actually every single time.
Dr. Jonathan Crane, a psychologist and a doctor studying the enemy that is fear. I read in the comics that there was this one thing that he did that was really troublesome. This jock was bullying him and stole his crush away. So what did he do? While they were driving, Jonathan Crane cut their brakes.
Killing them.
Literally scaring them.
I do believe it killed. I do believe
it did.
Yeah.
It paralyzed the jock and killed the girl. And you know what he did after all that? He grinned. Because he saw what fear could do to people. Take away everything. So that's why he decided to divulge everything into being the Scarecrow. The ultimate master of fear. A good number of Scarecrow's tactics involve using his fear toxin, both in liquid and gaseous form. In gaseous form, when inhaled, it will literally produce hallucinations of the subject's worst fears. In liquid form, he has a gauntlet syringe that he injects them directly.
And depending on the severity of how many times he does this, depends on how strong the illusions are.
The hallucinations and illusions, yes.
Yes.
Not only that, but he is, honestly, from what I've heard, quite a capable fighter a little bit.
He has gone toe-to-toe with Batman and held his own for a bit. But since Batman knows almost every single martial art that exists...
Scarecrow's, like Mysterio, basically works from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But he does have his scythe.
Depending on the iteration you go with.
We're going with both. We're kind of going with both iterations. So
we're doing a fusion of both iterations.
Yeah, in order to make it kind of fair, because we won't keep the scythe, because that's only done in, like, the comics.
It was done in the original show.
Yeah, the animated series.
The animated series, and then in later iterations...
Scarecrow was never seen pretty much in that way ever again. They rarely used him ever again.
It's always just the mask and
the fear toxin.
And the fear... Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I will give credit to at least the movies of trying to... They didn't
do much with him.
But they attempted it, and the way they implemented his fear toxin...
Yep.
...was, well, actually quite brilliant, honestly.
On the train?
The way they... Yeah, using that evaporator machine.
Yeah.
That was... in making sure that all of the water throughout the entire city was contaminated with his toxin. That was ingenious.
Not only that, but Scarecrow has proven that even people like Batman, who have said to become immune, have suffered the effects of it. Even though he's not immune from it, he still has a good comprehension of where he is, though.
Yeah, and he has overcome the fear toxin. In the game, in Arkham Asylum, the game...
And Arkham Knight.
And Arkham Knight, yes. And I guess somewhat in Arkham City, because you do go to that one spot with...
Yeah, that was beyond creepy.
For you, at least.
Shut up.
In the first game, he injected Batman 3 separate times.
Well, actually, he injected him once.
Twice.
The other 2 times, it was via the ventilation system. The 3 times, it was in the ventilation system.
And once with the injection.
In the cell.
Actually, so twice actually after the third air induction.
Exactly, twice.
So he has done it twice, which even Crane was surprised that he was alive at that point.
Yeah, because via Crane's own admission, Batman has ingested enough of the fear toxin to drive 10 men insane, which means his durability on that must have been amazing at the time.
Well, you have to remember, he's fought in Crane for so many years
that he's almost become immune.
He has built up an extreme tolerance.
Until Crane modifies the fear gas to a different level.
But even so, even that level, he still has an insane resistance to it.
Again, until Crane adds a new additive and makes it more potent.
But each time Crane does that, Batman gets more and more of an immunity.
Fair enough. All right. Who gets the win in this battle of the Masters of Illusion?
Well, okay, here's the thing with Mysterio. Mysterio uses illusions to fight.
Yes.
Scarecrow does not have that capability.
Not only that, but Scarecrow very rarely fights his own fights. He usually, again, hides from the shadows and lets the fear toxin do the work for him.
And if he does have access to minions, he will use them.
True, but this is a mono fight.
Yes.
So that option's out.
And Mysterio is far more physically fit as well. And Crane's current main weapon is his liquid fear toxin.
Unfortunately, though, you're forgetting the biggest factor that Mysterio has.
His helmet and his suit. His helmet would have an air breather in it.
Exactly. And honestly, for this fight, I did a little research. That bubble does protect him from his own knockout gas, which means there is an alternate air supply in said helmet that, from what I've researched, can withstand 30 minutes of air.
Yeah. So Crane's fear toxin airborne would be useless.
His only real way of getting that toxin in is via the liquid form of his syringes.
But you have to remember, he does wear a suit which has resisted penetrative weapons.
But it's not only that. It's also with Crane. Crane would have to get in close in order for that to work. And with Beck's illusions, it's going to be more difficult.
Because Crane may be able to figure out that they're illusions, but he wouldn't know how he's doing it or where he's going to pop up after the...
Exactly. So, in theory, Mysterio can get in close and give Crane a taste of his own medicine.
Like Batman did.
Exactly.
On several
Unfortunately, it's time for Crane to eat crow.
Yeah.
Coming at number 5. Oh boy, why did I put this on the list? I believe every teenager, every little girl believes that magic exists. And girls who transform into superheroes. Yep. Some with very revealing outfits, and some that are actually latex spandex.
Yes, one is creepy and one is not.
Like Sailor Moon.
The 14-year-old superhero.
With a skirt that goes up to the wazoo. And Ladybug, Paris' teenage savior. We will be right back.
There is a visitor at the door. That is where he is gone, and I am just grabbing my phone.
We are back.
Yes.
Where were we?
We were talking about our two combatants.
Oh, right.
I've only seen a couple of episodes of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I've seen a good majority. That's probably one of the disadvantages of having an older sibling.
Oh,
that's a girl.
My mother also grew up with Sailor Moon, as did her best friend.
We don't need to go into that, Ed.
So, that's why I've only seen a couple episodes of it, because...
We are going into the characters themselves. So, Serena. Big klutz.
Yeah.
Not the brightest student in the school, nor the most popular, or the most sporty. Why is she the main one?
Because she's apparently supposed to be the nerdy girl, apparently. Or
nope, that's Mercury.
If she
was nerdy, she wouldn't be getting a 30% on her test. I remember that part vividly.
Yeah, honestly, I barely paid attention to the Serena character. I just paid attention more or less to the fighting chicks.
Yeah, well, that's not really much fighting in Serena's case.
Yeah.
Let's just go over her abilities to start off with, and then we can get to the negatives.
For one thing, let's talk about her transformation. Her very sexualized transformation.
Yeah, and very long. Unless, while she's transforming, the space around her is stopped.
Yeah, that could potentially be a problem. But let's say that she's already in her Sailor Moon form.
Well, obviously.
Her weapons are her tiara and her crystal moon wand thing.
Yeah. The main problem with Sailor Moon is that she doesn't really do any of the fighting herself.
She leaves it to her Sailor Scouts.
Exactly. With their elemental attacks, they do paralyze and damage the monster.
And she finishes off by literally throwing her tiara at the enemy.
Pretty much what happened at the end of Miss Congeniality, pretty much.
Yeah. Or what Wonder Woman does, sometimes.
Pretty much. Now, again, this is the biggest problem with Serena. She is a walking hostage. Bella gets less captured than her.
Yeah.
Because even in the first episode, when the monster had her, Tuxedo Mask threw a rose at her to distract her long enough. Seriously, every time she's in trouble, it's only by sheer luck.
From what I understand, apparently they tried to give her more of a combat role in the later iterations.
Yeah, well, that is said, but it's never really done.
I also, from what I've heard, she also has this moonbeam attack.
Yeah, but again, unless the other Sailor Scouts are there with her, or Tuxedo Mask jumps in and does the "my job is done, you didn't do anything," and then walks away meme, she is practically the lamest superheroine ever.
Yeah.
And for anyone who says that I'm saying this just because I'm a guy and I don't like the girl hero thing, wait till you see what I say about the next combatant.
Yeah, which honestly I actually know nothing about.
I am not surprised. Marinette Tupan Chang, 15 or 16 years old. She is in 10th grade at her high school in Paris.
Oh, before we can I should mention, most of this with Sailor Moon, it takes place in Japan, whereas this one takes place in France?
Paris, yes.
Yeah. Which, if you were there are some disturbing legal things.
May I continue?
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
Not get sued, please.
Yeah, if you want to know what I'm talking about with the whole
I will
legal age thing, go watch Nostalgia Critic. You'll understand.
Hey, did you know that in the game how I have the ability to hurt people?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Can't you just play with the gag, like pretend I'm hurting your mind, please? No?
No.
Best friend, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, Marinette was very clumsy. No, seriously, what is with these female characters and being clumsy?
It was a stereotype that was
Not only
really bad.
Not only that, but when her crush is around her, she acts like more of a blabbering idiot.
Oh, hi, Sailor Moon.
Until when she's transformed into Miraculous Ladybug, she becomes more confident.
Goodbye, Sailor Moon.
She's pretty much female Spider-Man. By using her yo-yo, she can swing from the buildings.
Wow.
No, seriously, this yo-yo is durably strong. Not only that, but her mask cannot be ripped off.
Convenient.
Further hiding her identity. Unfortunately, Sailor Moon has no such thing. Seriously, same hair! Same meatballs! How did you not notice, people?
Because people are stupid.
Anyway, back to Marinette. Her abilities aren't really that great. I mean, nowhere as magical as the tiara thing, but she does have good combat experience. Not only that, she is very rarely the victim of the villain. It is usually her sidekick and the guy who likes her, Chat Noir. Here's the funny thing. In human form, she likes his secret identity. In superhero form, he likes her. And they are completely oblivious because it is against the law of the miraculous for them to know each other's identity.
Wow.
Yep.
So how far into the series until they break that?
It's going on 3 seasons so far, and nothing!
Yeah,
There was one episode where they found out, but that was only because of a villain who wiped out their memories. So when they found out and everything was fixed, their memories got put back. Where they shared a kiss. Seriously, I'm pretty sure every fan of the show was screaming at that episode. Anyway, back to her abilities. She's very combat worthy and she's very agile. And whenever she's in a pinch, she can always use her Lucky Charm, which transforms into a random object that is used to defeat the Akumas.
Which are obviously the enemies.
Yeah, so these things go from gloves to glue to a box to a lock to a tire to a bike lock. She uses her ingenuity to find out how to use these in different ways. Unfortunately, after using the Lucky Charm, she's got 5 minutes before she transforms back.
Wow.
And then her Kwami, which is is not a sentient life form, but an ancient life form, needs to stock up on sweets to get her energy back. She's a ladybug. She loves sweets.
Yeah, I got that.
So among these two lovely girls, who gets the win?
Yeah, Sailor Moon loses.
Yep, for more reasons.
1, lack of combat experience.
2,
2, all Ladybug has to do is literally catch the tiara. It's super simple.
Actually, it's not that. It's more of being capable.
Yeah, like I said,
Not once has Sailor Moon ever defeated an enemy without the other scouts or Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, that is true.
Ladybug, on the other hand, has defeated... So, if we count 24 episodes of 3 seasons, that gives us 72 villains. And she defeated all of them while Chat Noir was either incapacitated, under the control of certain villains, or basically just wasn't there.
Yeah. Whereas with Sailor Moon, the Sailor Scouts and Tuxedo Mask had to rescue her and basically do all the fighting.
All the hard work. Sailor Moon is the equivalent of that one kid in class when you had to do a group project, doesn't show up, does none of the work, but still comes for presentation when the grade's about to come.
Yeah. Honestly, according to the show, she's supposed to be the reincarnation of
a queen.
The princess of the fucking moon. Are you kidding me?
Looks like this fight was sent to the moon.
Yep.
Come in. Let's go to number 4. This is a little bit of you. Cybernetics.
This is gonna be fun.
There is belief that robot sentient life exists in the world, and these two combatants are the baddest of the bad.
General Grievous is the leader of the droid army
and Megatron, the leader of the Predacons, descendant of the Decepticons.
Starting with General Grievous.
All you.
My territory.
All you, my friend.
I forget what his original race was, but before he became a cyborg, he was the most powerful warrior.
Look at the camera.
He ruled the entire planet, his entire home planet, and he was able to kill Jedi, which is something that is incredibly hard to do.
Unless you're Liam Neeson, otherwise all it takes is for you to turn your back.
Well, yeah. There is that, but after he was tricked into becoming a cyborg by, well, the Sith, he became even more deadly. If that was even fucking possible. His arms can split into, well, 4.
Basically giving him 4 limbs and 4 lightsabers.
Yes, which he is extremely proficient in because of the training that he received after he became a cyborg.
Not only that, but by having 4 arms, his combat versatility with the 4 lightsabers definitely increases. He doesn't use blasters, does he?
No. He has never once picked up a blaster. He can take 2 of his arms and spin the hands to, basically create spinning plasma blades.
Really?
Yes, lightsabers are plasma contained within a magnetic field.
So even if he doesn't have the sabers out, he can still do damage with his regular hands.
Yes, considering that they are, clawed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his punch is incredibly powerful. He was able to crack Stormtrooper armor, which, the fact that plasma can melt through that stuff with ease, that armor is incredibly tough.
If you say plasma gets through it instantly, it's not really that.
Well,
it's pretty much the equivalent of using a submachine gun on a pillow.
The armor was cracked, but it wasn't broken through. It was cracked. Plasma melted through it.
Oh, okay.
Because plasma is
yeah.
gas. So
let's not about forget his arsenal, including his wheel bike.
His wheel bike that also transforms into a wheel bike into a walking mechanical, which he can use even if 2 of his 4 limbs are gone.
Not only that, but it also has cannons on it, doesn't it?
It has cannons, and it also has an electro staff. A staff that can repel lightsabers.
And given how strong lightsabers can be,
considering that they are literal plasma, that is an impressive thing. He has gone up against multiple Jedi, getting a collection of lightsabers that he keeps in his cape, and he keeps 4 on his person at all times.
All right, any weaknesses of the general?
Well, his overconfidence is one. The other thing is his internal organs.
Even though he's a robot, he still has the internal organs.
Yes, because he's a cyborg. He's not full
All right.
robot.
All right.
In his fight against Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan was able to take advantage of this by ripping open the chest piece and using a blaster to kill him.
So in order to do that, his opponent will have to get really in close.
Or use something that can literally, from a distance, rip him open. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also, in one of the episodes of Star Wars, a really badly animated version of it, Mace Windu crushes him to the point where he has a breathing problem.
And that's why he talks like that.
That's why he does that weird breathing thing.
I don't think that really affects his overall battle system, though.
It does limit his stamina to a degree.
All right.
So there is that.
Shall we get on to the next combatant?
Yes, which you can take over from here.
Years after the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots came to a close, a new revolution was going to happen. Ancestral Predacons, a rogue group, stole the Golden Disc and hightailed it to Earth. These are the Predacons, led by the namesake Megatron. We will be counting his 3rd form within the Beast Wars series, considering it was the most powerful. In this form, he becomes a giant cybernetic dragon. And boy, does it look badass!
And has the power to boot.
Yeah, when he's not taking an energon bath with his rubber ducky.
Which is still funny to me.
I know. He's got great combat skills. He can use the metallic wings in order to that are deadly sharp in robot mode. He can use his dragon hand to spit fire, crush, literally squeeze the life with the dragon hand out of his opponents. He actually, I gotta say, even though this is his final form, it's not the most versatile. In his previous mode, he had his 2 claws turn into mini guns on his shoulders.
Yeah, but in his previous form, he also had roller skates for feet.
Roller derby, anyone? In beast mode, he still does have the fire breath, which is so hot that Tarantulas burned to a crisp, but still remained alive. Because Cybertronian armor is still technically tough. Honestly, I would say even more tough than Stormtrooper armor.
I actually
mostly because the armor is armor and not basically living cybernetics.
Yeah.
So, even though that was a brief rendition, which of these cybernetic monsters gets the win?
You're also forgetting one other aspect in Megatron's Dragon Mode. His tail. He can use that as a weapon.
Yeah, because it is technically pronged, like a trident.
Yeah.
So
and technically his claws.
And
his head.
Yeah. So, which one of them gets the win?
As painful as this is for me to say, Grievous loses.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because the moment Megatron uses his fire, Grievous is, charred.
Well, Grievous definitely has the speed, and in his wheel bike, he kind of has an advantage in speed over Megatron. But the minute that's done, and Megatron gets in close, he's done.
He doesn't even have to get in close. Fire. There has only been one time that a Force Reader has ever deflected fire, and General Grievous doesn't have that power.
No, but he could use the lightsabers, and
the fire would go around, would only be stopped by a certain point. Would only be stopped by where the blades come in contact with it.
Yeah,
fire would still go through these open spots.
Yeah, that's fair.
And even if he tried to block them by doing that little spinning hand trick thing I mentioned,
it would still melt his armor.
It would still, yeah, it would.
Mm-hmm.
It would melt the lightsaber hilts themselves.
That is
They're
fair.
Not very durable.
Yeah, and plus, compared to the technology in Star Wars to the technology in Beast Wars, the Predacons are vastly superior to any technology Grievous has.
And Cybertronians, they actually are slightly immune to plasma. So he would
because they have taken plasma shots before from their previous weapons and survived. Grievous, on the other hand, all it takes is one smart shot and he's done.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like after this battle there will be serious grieving to do.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 3, explosions, baby. Boomstick would be proud.
Oh yes, he would.
And these two combatants master the art of boom. Like Katsuki Bakugo, the hot-headed hero of My Hero.
And Roy Mustang.
The Flame Alchemist.
Yeah.
Let's start with the hothead himself. In a world where superheroes are a majority of the population, the best high school in the world is UA to become a pro hero. Unfortunately, compared to so many other characters who want to do it for good reasons, whether it be to improve themselves, make a name for themselves, make money, or just help the people,
Bakugo just wants the fame.
As a kid, his quirk was by far the coolest among his friends, being able to turn his sweat into nitroglycerin to create explosions. As he got older, his temper got the better of him numerous times.
Yes. Well, yes, it has. He also has a rivalry with the other main character of the show,
Izuku Midoriya, where he pretty much not bullied, but just mocked just for not having a quirk.
Oh no, it was full on bullying.
Yeah, even though they are friends.
To a degree, yes.
But the problem is, after finding out that Deku got a quirk during the exam,
it sent him into a fury. It sent him into an even bigger rage.
Basically hating him for making a fool out of him throughout their entire childhood. Not only that, but Bakugo does try to become the best hero in the class, but does nothing to prove it. But let's get to his abilities first. In his costume, which is augmented to suit his quirk, honestly, I'm just going to say this, his name should be King Grenade.
I actually agree with that. The grenades that are on his arms, as he states, collect his sweat, which, remind you, is nitroglycerin, which is a very unstable element unless it is
ignited.
Hardened.
Yeah, hardened. Plus, with those gauntlets, he can collect a good amount and pull the pin to release a giant blast.
And the episode that he actually displays, the first time he actually displays this, he literally states that if Deku does not dodge, it will die.
Kill him.
It would kill him.
Mostly also because of how, it also depends on how long the fight goes. Because the longer he moves, the more he moves, the more he sweats.
And the more those gauntlets collect. And they were fighting for a pretty long time. And he collected a good amount.
Not only that, but he can also use this in very creative ways. By using them to jump, to launch himself off the ground, maneuver around terrain.
Not to mention he is very apt. He has a very good aptitude for hand-to-hand combat.
And also, he's created side grenades, which compensate his sweat for versatile abilities. And also, by enclosing his hand over his palm, it creates what he called the armor-pierced shot, or the AP shot, which is a mini version of his explosions, but more pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah. Not to mention his strategic mind. He is one of the smartest students in his class.
Let's not go that far.
No, it actually states he has the #1 grade in the class.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I must have missed that one.
Yes.
But whether all this is true and his combat skills and his versatility is the best, Bakugo's biggest problem is his own anger. He flies off the handle so quickly. And in combat, that is not a good trait.
Not at times. It can be useful, but if he gets too angry, yeah, it is a detriment.
Not only that, but he loses focus. Also, he was targeted by the League of Villains for this very reason that they saw that he could have gone to the dark side.
Luckily, he didn't.
Yeah, because of All Might and his friends saved his ass. The only one
he still wouldn't have turned to a life of crime.
Yeah, even though he's got an anger issue, he wants to become a pro hero. And all I am hoping for is that in the future episodes, we get an episode where Bakugo does something selfless for someone. And I am waiting for that day.
There's also the fact that he was able to eventually figure out that what Deku told him about how he got his quirk was the truth.
That really doesn't apply to this.
No, but he basically
humbled him.
It humbled him. That's the point. It humbled him.
That and kind of made him a little pissed off that his hero chose a weakling like Deku to give his quirk to.
Yes, there was that. But it also inspired him to step up his game, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm really hoping for an episode where he finally gets better. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is the top 3 we're talking about here.
Yeah.
All right, this next one's all you.
Roy Mustang.
The Flame Alchemist.
Flame Alchemist of, Full Metal Alchemist. Both the original and Brotherhood. Which this battle, we will be using the Brotherhood version.
Obviously, it's the superior version.
Yes. Roy Mustang is part of, the military. He is a military alchemist. Which is basically...
Talk to the camera, my friend.
Basically follows the hierarchy of, unfortunately, the Nazis. But without the Nazi ideology. Because
Alright, continue. Continue with the Colonel's abilities.
His ability is literally turning air into fire. That's what his alchemy does. Hence his namesake, the Flame Alchemist. Which the way he uses it is he has these special gloves that act like
like a wick.
A wick or
flint.
A flint wick, yeah. Which when he snaps his fingers creates fire.
It's essentially like a lighter. It creates a spark that will ignite the air around him.
How he obtained this was from his assistant Hawkeye.
Why am I getting serious MASH vibes?
Which is tattooed upon her back.
Okay, I need to start watching Full Metal Alchemist again.
Yeah, which she had this done because of her father.
Okay,
the original Flame Alchemist.
We are not getting into her backstory. We are getting into Mustang's.
Mustang had to get approval from her father in order to obtain this power.
Because asking her out wouldn't be that much more difficult?
Consider that the two are in love with each other, but will never admit it, yes.
Did they admit it at least in the end of the series?
No.
Damn it. Alright, more of his abilities. Is that all he does, or does his...
He can use his flames in various ways. Short distance, long distance, in pretty much any way you can think. One of his more impressive feats was burning through the entire Philosopher's Stone within a single person.
Lust?
Lust.
And that took about... And I watched that scene, and I counted how many times... And this was when he lost his magic, his ability to do alchemy, right?
No, he didn't lose his alchemy. He had to trace it in blood on his hand and use a dead lighter as...
The flint.
As the flint.
Which, honestly, think about how much pain he would have been in order to do that.
Oh, he was an excruciating, because if you also see in that scene, he has an injury that he had to burn.
Cauterize it.
And his friend got got paralyzed because of that.
Because cauterizing him?
No, his friend got stabbed in the spinal cord where his legs no longer functioned.
Yeah, I know what paralyzed is.
Yeah, just for the people who.
And I counted how many times Mustang did do that to destroy Lust. Though that was the accomplishment of about 12 times.
Yes. Here's the thing. There was about a theorist named game theory / movie theory / film theory calculated how many souls were in that specific Philosopher's Stone.
How many?
I don't remember the exact number, but it was
just
roughly
round up.
It was roughly over 1,300.
And that accompanies how strong it is?
That accompanies to how many times each of his flames burnt.
So he burned away 1,300 souls.
Over 1,300 souls, yes.
Within about 12 strikes.
Which means that his flames burnt probably
burned about 300 each.
I'd say about 100 each time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is quite impressive. This is just a rough estimate.
Yeah. Unfortunately, even the Colonel has weaknesses.
You remove his glove, or in any way his
incapacitate him.
Ability to use his alchemy, he is not completely useless in a fight because he does have military training. But he isn't all that strong in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And if you pretty much drench him in water, he's completely useless.
Well, luckily that's not the case for this match. So which of these explosive combatants gets the win?
That's difficult to...
I already know who I got for this.
Well, you have to remember, fire does create heat, which would create sweat. So Bakugo would get more fuel for his quirk.
That's not the only reason I'm giving my edge to Bakugo.
Bakugo also has a far more strategic mind than the Colonel.
Not only that, but because of his gauntlets, because of the grenades he has on his person that we saw Kaminari use in that one episode with the licensing exam.
Yeah.
And
which Bakugo failed, I might add.
Exactly. Not only that, but Bakugo can also use his ability to maneuver around the area, get around Mustang quicker.
Yeah, and his quirk can be used in water because he's creating an explosion.
Not fire.
Not fire.
Exactly.
He's basically a living grenade.
Not only that, but again, like I said, with the maneuverability, that makes Bakugo faster than Mustang. Because in the episodes I've seen of Full Metal Alchemist, I've never seen him move quickly. He's been stationary most of the time.
Even in the movie, he didn't move all that fast.
Yeah, when he fights using the air around him and not his own premise.
He does actually have a sidearm, but he rarely uses it.
Exactly. But if he had to use it, he would. But he would never draw a weapon on a kid.
Exactly. So So his sidearm is going to be non-existent.
Not only that, but if Bakugo can get it, he can basically just blow it up.
Yeah, so that sidearm is completely useless. So.
And again, even at close range, Roy Mustang's flames are beyond useless against Bakugo's explosion and his AP shot, which is more accurate.
Yes, and Bakugo has survived.
He survived punches from All Might.
Not only that, but he's also survived other flame-based attacks.
Exactly.
So Mustang, unfortunately, does lose this fight.
This flame looks like the Flame Alchemist's flame has died out. I can't think of a good pun. Number 2!
Yeah.
In the world of guns, one type of gun is more deadly than people know. Sniper rifles. Whether it's for the good of the country or for an assassination attempt, snipers are beyond the most skilled gunmen in the world. And that's where these two come in. Searchman, the Army Net Navi of Mega Man, and Zigbar, the free shooter of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Zigbar is a extremely complicated character. I mean...
Shall we divulge all of his information?
Yes, and let's start with Zigbar because he is the most...
Talked about,
yes.
And beyond my favorite character of Kingdom Hearts in general.
Yeah.
He is the mysterious Lushu from Kingdom Hearts X.
Yes. Which I have actually played that mobile game.
And sucks.
The game, well, it does you know that battle, the final battle with all those Keyblades?
Yeah.
And all the names?
Yeah.
Those are the people that have completed the mobile game.
Oh, that's kind of a cool thing they did.
Yeah.
Can we just get back to the main focus?
Yes.
as the years went on and he gave his Keyblade to Xehanort, he released his heart to find a new vessel as well, Braig, which led him to create the name Braig, where in that form he surprisingly had the same amount of abilities that he did as Xigbar. But Xigbar, in his nobody form, Xigbar is where he gets the best abilities of all. Not only that, a slick ponytail and purple hair.
Yeah.
Xigbar's dual weapons are called the arrow guns, which launch laser projectiles like bullets. And by saying lock and reload, he magically reloads his guns. Yeah. And he can rapid fire them, he can take 2 shots, and he can create the entire space around him and just go berserk, shooting rapid fire.
Yeah.
Not only that, but by using the element of gravity, he can be upside down throughout the fight and shoot from long distance upside down, which shows how good his aim must be.
Yeah. In the games that he has appeared in, he has been a very difficult fight.
In every single encompassment, by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3, though, could have been better.
Yeah, but it was still a tough fight.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but when he warps... Are you okay?
Yeah.
When he warps to long distance, he combines his 2 weapons to create a rifle, where his shots can be very precise. Not only that, but as he shoots them, he can warp them in order to hit you from his target from behind, as seen in Kingdom Hearts 2.
So he can literally hit you from any angle.
Not only that, but it's very difficult to... Even though you can get a hit on him... He warps really quickly.
Yeah. Which is why he is a very tough fight.
Yep. Not only that, but also being to fight a good majority of Keyblade wielders, his tolerance to magic attacks and other types of arsenals increases his immunity.
Yes. Not to mention his training as a Keyblade wielder.
Built up his stamina even more.
Yeah.
Well... Let's see if Xigbar can get the first shot off on his opponent. As if Searchman from Mega Man NT Warrior, him and his partner Raya.
I don't remember.
Rika, yeah.
Rika, yeah.
Pretty much, they were soldiers. A teenage soldier with his net navi, which is basically a armored soldier with a sniper rifle for an arm.
Yeah. And I've actually watched NT Warrior all the way through.
Same, and I played the games. So
I did not play the games. But
he has more arsenals in the game.
I would imagine.
So let's talk about his arsenals. First off, his sniper rifle arm, which creates a scope blast that can penetrate through ground.
Which, actually, real life
sniper
rifles...
No, it warps.
Yeah, I get that, but real life sniper rifles can also pierce through the ground. They also have piercing rounds that can pierce through armor.
You do realize this is in the digital world, right?
Yes, I know, but I'm just giving the equivalent for the real world.
Yeah. Not only that, but he's got a lot more arsenals in the game than the show ever did. He can make army men come out of the ground and use assault rifles for a couple shots. He can throw grenades that explode in an X pattern. And he even has a satellite laser!
Yeah.
Searchman is... Being a sniper character, he is very quick on his feet, having to change positions numerous times. Not only that, he was able to shoot a character, a.k.a. Shade Man, when he had Mega Man on the ropes. And he was able to do that from outside of a building, from a rooftop 3 miles away from where he shot.
Which is an incredible distance.
No shit, Sherlock. Not only that, considering this is the digital world and his scope blast went through the wall, that is by far the best shot in history. Well, in the show, pretty much.
Yeah.
Honestly, his only weakness is... He's not very combat type of character. He's basically only good for long shots, couple quick fires, up close,
Well, he is a sniper, and they're
Not only that, but while he shoots the gun manually, it can lock onto the target and basically hit it immediately, without even.
Yeah.
So Zigbar, better arsenal, better abilities, and also vast more experience, and doesn't need to rely on an operator.
True.
And even if Searchman can land a hit, Zigbar can land 15 in time it takes him to prep for one shot.
Yeah, and Zigbar could easily tank one of those shots.
Exactly.
So yeah, Zigbar wins hands down.
Yep. It was definitely a sure shot.
Yeah.
And the number one death battle idea: secret agents. Some of them are dashing, some of them are charismatic, and some of them just go batshit crazy with the full plan. Like Sterling Archer, the super spy of ISIS.
Yeah.
And Brock Sampson, bodyguard to the Venture Bros.
Not to mention a very badass secret agent.
Damn right. Sterling Mallory Archer, codename Duchess. And then you make a joke about that. Like, was he named after a queen or something?
Duchess.
Yeah.
His nickname is Duchess.
No, it's not his nickname, it's his code name.
His code name is Duchess.
It was his mother's dog's name.
His code name is named after a dog.
Yeah, that his mom got a photo with while she was naked.
Hang on, there's also his middle name, Mallory.
That's his mother's name.
I feel sorry for him for when he was going to school.
Yeah, he was at private school by age 4.
Yeah, again, I still feel sorry for him because he probably got his ass picked on a lot.
Not really. The other kid... Well, actually, yeah, he kind of got bullied a lot.
Yeah.
But as an adult, Sterling Archer would become the world's deadliest secret agent. His main weapon is a Walther PPK Special, which is the same gun James Bond has.
Yeah, and that is a pretty powerful weapon, too.
Not only that, but his skills includes covert operations, tactical. He's very tactical in certain scenarios. He's good with firearms, hand-to-hand combat, and also he can basically beat anything by the skin of his teeth.
Yep, he's also apparently a ladies' man.
Ladies' man is an understatement.
And a drunk.
Yeah, but surprisingly, even while intoxicated, he can still hold his own in a fight.
Yeah.
Some of his feats include, and I quote, he's been shot, stabbed, set on fire, sexually assaulted, partially chewed, poisoned, shot, and declared legally dead twice in the same day.
Yeah, I do believe he's also had several of his bones broken at points.
Numerous times.
And he's always managed to recover.
He survived a shuttle crash. He survived a plane crash. He survived jumping out of a plane with a parachute and landing in the wrong spot, which was surrounded by Soviet soldiers.
Yeah, to say this guy is
unkillable
is an understatement.
Yep. Although there are a couple things that Sterling does do that doesn't really help him much. He's not really discreet.
Yeah, him and Discreet don't even enter the same room.
Could you stop doing that, please?
Sorry. Him and Discreet don't enter the same room.
Nope. On occasion, he will tell people that he is a secret agent while undercover.
Which negates the whole point of being a secret agent.
Yeah, and also he drinks more alcohol than most single women on their 21st birthday.
How his liver is functioning is a miracle.
Yeah, he's almost a dead end for the world's biggest liver award, right next to Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
Although, even though he is a bumbling idiot, good number of times whenever he is dumb and does dumb shit through the missions, everything tends to work out for him.
Yeah, one of his skills is luck.
Well, it's not really a skill. He's just...
It might as well be.
Not only that, but by his own admission, he's only been half-assing everything he's been doing. Until his child was taken and put in danger, he said that a giant hand turned his dial from half-ass to quadruple ass.
Yeah, which, given his extreme amount of luck, is a terrifying thought.
Not only that, but he took an entire spaceship, well, not a spaceship, but a space station worth of armed guards with a plasma gun. He took on three deadly agents with guns and knives while underwater, and his mask was cut, and the air supply to his mask was cut, while being stabbed with a harpoon in the arm.
Yeah.
And he killed all three of them.
To say that he is a badass is...
Again, an understatement. Now let's talk about his opponent. The Venture Bros.
Yeah.
Quite possibly one of the most bumbling corporations ever.
Yeah. What they actually do, I have no idea.
Honestly, neither do I. But they have an arch enemy named the Monarch King, which...
Yeah, that's not much of an achievement.
Yeah. But they do have one thing going for them.
Their bodyguard.
Patrick Warburton! And that's when you give me the dirty look. I mean Brock Sampson. I mean Joe Swanson. I mean Lemony Snicket. I mean Kronk! Close enough?
No!
Okay, fine. Brock Sampson.
Thank you!
He is a badass extraordinaire. Only wearing one type of shirt.
Yep.
Black.
Yep.
Now, what are some of his feats?
Well, for one thing, he is a certified badass by his own admission.
Yeah, literally. He has a certificate saying he's a certified badass.
He is skilled with every type of weapon that you can imagine.
Bowie knives, his fists.
Guns.
Well, not really. He doesn't really use firearms that much.
He doesn't use them, but he is proficient in them.
And having sex with a one-eyed, red-headed Sikh double agent.
Yeah.
What is with secret agents and gang laid?
It has to be a cliche staple for them.
Pretty much.
Not to mention the fact that he is jacked to hell.
He is more jacked than He's almost
as jacked as the Hulk.
He's almost as jacked as Chuck Norris's chin.
And that's saying something.
Yep. Not only that, but he managed to take out 15 armed enemy agents while half naked, using only his fists and his ripped shirt. And killed all of them.
Yeah. Not to mention that the Monarch's goons stand no chance, even with firearms. Their shots are worse than stormtroopers.
And that's saying something.
And the only reason stormtroopers' shots are so bad is because of their helmets.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't see a damn thing out of them.
Yeah, and the Monarch's men just wear stupid costumes.
Yeah.
Although Brock Sampson does have what most would call an anger issue, that actually works to his strength.
Yes, but he does have a good control over it for the most part.
Exactly. Even when jacked up, he can still kick some ass and rip heads.
Yeah.
Alright, for the top 10th battle idea, who takes the final victory? But first, let's go over the winners one by one. Number 13, Max Steel. Number 12, Gearless Joe.
Yep.
Number 11, Geo Stellar. Number 10, Xana. Number 9, Hawkmoth. Number 8, Maka. Number 7, Phantasma. Number 6, Mysterio. Number 5, Ladybug.
Megatron.
Number 4, number 3,
that would be Bakugo.
number 2, Zigbar. And number 1.
To be honest, as good as Archer is,
Yep.
Brock is actually superior.
Because he spent most of his life doing this, and Archer only did it when he was an adult.
Yes. Brock Sanchez has had far more experience.
Did you say Brock Sanchez?
Sorry.
Samson.
Brock Sampson has had far more experience in this type of life.
In his career, yeah.
Yes.
Not only that, but he did all that while protecting the bumbling idiots of the kids he's been hired to watch.
Not to mention his own. He has to protect his own boss, and his own bosses can be said as a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, I know. But to be fair, Archer kind of has to deal with bumbling idiots while working with ISIS. Except for Lana, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Not only that, but even as versatile Brock is with hand-to-hand combat, Archer's primary weapon is using a gun. Not only that, he's been shot. He's been attacked more in more variations than anything. He's been poisoned. He's been shot numerous times.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, Brock can outmaneuver a bullet.
That is true. And even as half...
He's dodged sniper bullets.
True, and as half-assed as Archer's whole shtick is, without Lana to help him out half the time, I mean, he's done a good majority of this single-handedly, but he does have a limit.
Yeah. Whereas Brock, we have yet to see a limit.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Looks like Samson Brocked this whole fight.
Yeah.
The winner is Brock Sampson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into this 2-part video. Thank you, Gamer Dark Vanguard Ren, for joining me on this.
No problem.
2020 is going to be a hell of a year for me.
Yep.
Huh. What should I do for my next review after this week?
I don't know.
You know what? I know exactly what to do. Next week, after this video's release, join me as I go through the ranking all the best bosses in Shattered Dimensions. This is Gamer K, logging out.
This is Dark Vanguard Ren, saying Lotaro Gar.